Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an instrument by a maker that I've heard a lot of great things about, but I've not yet played one of his instruments until today. So I'm excited to share this with you. It's made by the French luthier Sylvain Balestrieri, and it's a completely traditional fan-braced guitar, no lattice brace or double top here. And of course, it's largely based on the tradition of the great French master luthiers, Robert Bouchet, Daniel Friederich, Dominique Field. And you can see, feel, and hear all of these influences in this guitar. Before I get to more about the sound, of course, you got to hear a little bit of it in the intro. Of course, this amazing piece by Edith Piaf, arranged by Roland Diens. I'd like to first go over the specs of this guitar and point out some interesting and beautiful details on this. So of course you'll see it has a spruce top. It is a very new guitar, by the way, from the year 2022. You'll see it has this very minimalist, understated rosette where there is a bit of a pattern to it, but it is very dark, and it's one of these rosettes that I really like because as you get closer to it, you notice more details. And whoa, as I'm speaking, the guitar, I can hear it reverberating back at me here, so I'm going to mute the strings. But yes, you notice more and more detail when you look at that rosette, and it's quite elegant, actually. Now, before I show you the rest of the guitar, I have to do another segment, which you all seem to really like. I'd like to show you the bracing of this guitar. Check it out. As you can see, it has a fan bracing in a very traditional design. And also, if you look at the inside of the guitar along the sides, you'll see it lined with these side braces that I've seen in many of Dominique Field's guitars. So you see some influence, of course, from Field there. Now, when I turn around the guitar, you will see it has this really beautiful three-piece Indian rosewood back, and really pops with these really thin lines separating the different pieces of wood. And then turning the guitar around, having a look at the headstock, you'll see this very striking design with a pointed tip here. It looks really quite nice. Of course, Scheller tuners, some of the best in the world, extremely smooth. Now coming down to the neck, you know I'll have something to say about that. It is not a particularly thin neck, but it's not super thick either. It's somewhere in the middle. And I would say the shape is something like a Friederich neck. That's what it feels like to me. It's very comfortable to play. The action is fairly low, and there's also tons of room on this saddle here that has a very high break angle and tons of room left to lower if you want it even lower. Now, when it comes to the sound, I have to say this is really where you hear these different French influences come together. I have to say that for me, the sound of this guitar is very characteristic of something like a Daniel Friederich guitar in the way that each note really has so much mass to it. And it has this hum that just is really inviting and has this kind of noble sound, as I like to say. Like, listen when I just play a few chords on it. It just feels like every note has this meaning and direction and intention. It's really a beautiful thing that's hard to put into words. So let me play some other melodies on this guitar so you can sort of get what I'm saying, whether I'm playing on the bass strings or on the trebles. And now I feel like I demonstrated and showed you a lot of the characteristics and kind of made this guitar sound more like the Friederich side of things. But I also want to demonstrate how I felt like it also resembles some of the Dominique Field guitars that I played, which I would characterize as a little bit more responsive and maybe a little bit brighter than Daniel Friederich guitars. And I feel like this guitar does lie on the brighter side of things, maybe with a little bit more clarity. And so when I push into the guitar, this is one of those times that I really feel like it sounds more like Field. And of course, just because Sylvain is a French guitar maker doesn't mean that his guitars only sound like Dominique Field and Robert Bouchet. And of course, these are all amazing French makers. He has his own style, but I just wanted to show you where I hear influences, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not. You guys can tell me. But listen to this. When I push into this guitar, it has this bright character to it. It's not all subdued, like maybe if I can imitate the way a Friederich might sound in this situation, it might be like... Of course, I'm manipulating this with where I'm playing in the right hand and my fingers, but it would sound more like this, right? But this guitar has a little bit more brightness and bite to the sound, so you get more of this. Well, anyways, I hope that makes sense, but you feel quite a bit of responsiveness in this guitar that I really quite like. And certainly, it's not an instrument that someone would say, well, it's just not quite clear enough for me. So, if you've been looking for an incredible traditional guitar that has these types of sound influences, and by the way, that is in pristine condition. I mean, there's hardly a mark anywhere on this guitar. And while it was made in 2022, if I told you it was made yesterday, you'd probably believe me. So before I get to playing some more musical examples for you here, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Believe it or not, it shows me the analytics, which are painful, where it tells me that something like 80% of people who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. And you know what? That hurts my ego. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for watching these. Check out guitarcollection.com. I've got lots of new instruments coming in. This one is just fantastic, and it is available as I'm uttering these words, so don't hold me to it. Click the link in the description and check it out. Feel free to write me an email. And without further ado, I will go ahead and play some more passages on this guitar made by Sylvain Balestrieri.